Evening Chanting in English, Book 1, page 19, and we'll do a dedication in memory of Beth Steph's husband, Michael. It's the anniversary of his passing. For Robert Cusick, who's had a stroke as well.
Object of recollection, I venerate of this practice, by its power, may all obstacles be overcome.
Now let us chant the recollection of the Dhamma. They are
The Dhamma is well expounded by the Blessed One, apparent here and now, timeless, encouraging investigation, leading inwards, to be experienced individually by the wise.
Now let us chant the supreme praise of the Dhamma.
It is excellent because it is well expounded, and it can be divided into path and fruit, learning and liberation. The Dhamma also to uphold it from falling into delusion. I revere the excellent teaching, that which removes darkness, the Dhamma which is the supreme, secure refuge of all beings. As the second object of recollection, I venerate it with bowed head. I am indeed the Dhamma's servant. The Dhamma is my Lord and guide. The Dhamma is sorrow's destroyer, and it bestows blessings on me. To the Dhamma I dedicate this body and life, and in devotion I will walk this excellent way of truth. For me there is no other refuge. The Dhamma is my excellent refuge. By the utterance of this truth, may I grow in the Master's way. By my devotion to the Dhamma, and the blessing of this practice, by its power, may all obstacles be overcome.
Now let us chant the recollection of the Sangha.
They are the Blessed One's disciples who have practiced well, who have practiced directly, who have practiced insightfully, those who practice with integrity. That is the four pairs, the 8 kinds of noble beings. These are the Blessed One's disciples. Such ones are worthy of gifts, worthy of hospitality, worthy of offerings, worthy of respect. They give occasion for incomparable goodness to arise in the world.
Now let us chant the supreme praise of the Sangha.
Born of the Dhamma, that Sangha which has practiced well, the field of the Sangha formed of 8 kinds of noble beings, guided in body and mind by excellent morality and virtue. I revere that assembly of noble beings, perfected in purity, the Sangha which is the supreme, secure refuge of all beings. As the third object of recollection, I venerate it with bowed head. I am indeed the Sangha's servant.
short break and come back for the ordination ceremony. Okay, so this evening we have a papaja, a novice ordination. So Anagārika Aaron has requested the papaja, the going forth, and this would be his second ordination, a former Titabo Bhikkhu. And so without further ado, please come forward.
Okasawandami bante sabang aparadang kamatame bante maya katang punyang samina anumoditabang samina katang punyang mayang databang sadhu sadhu anumodami okasakarunyang katva pabajang detame bante.
Okay, so now what I'm doing is checking that the candidate has all of his robes for a novice or a Sāmaṇera. Then they'd have just a basic set of two main robes, the lower robe or the sabang and the upper robe, the G1, but they don't yet have the Sangati, the outer robe, which is for bhikkhus. And now having checked that the candidate has his requisites and he's requested, out of... Please allow me to pay respect. I ask forgiveness for any shortcomings. I offer to you any goodness I have. May I partake in the accumulated goodness of you also. And out of compassion, please permit me to receive the going forth. So now, having checked the robes, I will pass them back. And you can continue.
Ahang bante pabajang yachami dutiyampi ahang bante pabajang yachami tatiyampi ahang bante pabajang yachami sabadukani saranani pana sachikarana taya imang kasawang gahetwa papajetamang bante anukampang upadaya sabadukani saranani pana sachikarana taya imang kasawang gahetwa papajetamang bante anukampang upadaya sabadukani saranani pana sachikarana taya imang kasawang gahetwa papajetamang bante anukampang upadaya.
Bow once.
Sabadukani saranani pana sachikarana taya etang kasawang datva pabajitamang bante anukampang upadaya sabadukani saranani panasachikaranataya etang kasawang datwa pabajitamang bante anukampang upadaya sabadukani saranani panasachikaranataya etang kasawang datwa pabajitamang bante anukampang upadaya.
Okay, so after a long time, you're coming back into the brown robes, and there's a whole lot of reflections coming up, so where to start? This is a very special thing to be able to come back into the robes. So once having been a part of the sasana in terms of the robes, having spent 10 plus years in the monastery previously, and having done no small amount of service and no small amount of practice, and having stayed up on all those hundreds of wan pras and just all the practice that went into that. And there was the kind of inclination when you first came back just to put you straight back into bhikkhu, but then this idea of doing things step by step, stage by stage, slowly entering back in. So I know Longpo Liam, when Tanio wanted to reordain, Longpo Liam put him straight back into bhikkhu, sort of fast-tracked him, and they didn't do any Anagārika or novice ordination. But for yourself, we're doing the long road, but you're doing it, so this is impressive. And coming back in to the robes. And so this is the going forth, the pabaja. This is something extremely rare, beneficial in the world. And thought I would talk a little bit about just the robes, just putting on the robes, and anybody who comes and goes through the Anagārika ordination and puts on the robes, like you commented, like, wow, this is really feels really powerful, putting the robes back on. So it's like, and I remember I felt the same thing putting on the brown robe, and it really is something that links us to a very long-standing, a very ancient lineage, a very pure lineage, and the whole recollection of the robes and the why would rag robes be special? But just that they're made in a specific pattern, they're done in a specific way. It's like the Buddha, at first he would have had just patchwork robes, but then talking with Ananda up on the cliffs above Magadha and saying, like, make me a robe, Ananda, like those paddy fields down below. So the robe is not only the banner of the Arhants, but it's a reminder of where we come from. We're built up out of rice, out of just nutriment, and it's a whole recollection of just coming back in, seeing where we come from, what we are. And a lot of that is just, it's coming back to those natural truths and just gaining insight into those. And that's going forth, putting those robes on. It's like going forth into something, into that. And then the fact that you were a bhikkhu before and coming back, and that there's no stigma in leaving. It's a completely optional thing whether one stays or goes. We're completely free to choose, and that also makes this kind of an act much more powerful. That it's voluntary, it's from the heart, and it's quite a good thing. So the novice ordination, the Buddha gives what we call the mula kammatthana, the root practices, and this is where he talks about hair of the head, hair of the body, nails, teeth, and skin as a meditation object that we contemplate, and that's what we wrap these robes around. And so if you get back up on your haunches, and I'll give you that meditation object, and if you can come up. I'll hand you these robes. And if you could repeat after me. Kesa,
Kesa,
Loma,
Loma,
Naka,
Naka,
Danta,
Danta,
Tacho,
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 Danta,
Danta,
Naka,
Naka,
Loma,
Loma,
Kesa.
Kesa.
And you can go and put the robes on. Yep. So Anagārika Aaron is now putting the brown robes on and relinquishing the whites, so moving up to the next level of ordination. And the meditation object, which I just gave, is the Kesa, hair of the head, Loma, hair of the body, Naka, nails, Danta, teeth, Tacho, skin. And these are the first 5 body parts of the 32 body parts contemplation that the Buddha gives in the Kayagatanusati, the contemplation of the body or mindfulness of the body. And these first 5 body parts are interesting because they're the visible body parts on a human body. So everything we see is just that. It's just hair of the head, hair of the body, nails, teeth, skin. There's various ways we use this contemplation. For example, teeth is the visible part of the skeleton. So that's like an entryway into seeing some of the other body parts the Buddha talks about, such as bones. And this is also just coming inward, and we do these contemplations looking into the body, looking into our own body, looking into it, investigating it, and cooling down the sense of infatuation, passion, attachment to it, just by looking at these 5 things. And I think may have said it in the last novice ordination that we did, was something like just hair of the head, how we might hear about that and think like, well, that sounds kind of strange, like why contemplate hair of the head or head hair? But then remembering, like, there's these stories in the time of the Buddha where they're shaving the head of a 7-year-old to ordain him as a novice, and they shave his hair off, and he looks at the hair falling down and contemplates impermanence and how the hair is impermanent and how it's something that's just ordinary and it just grows out of the head and it can get cut off or it can fall off, and that insight into impermanence. And you had like Daba the Malian attaining arhatship at the age of 7 as his head was being shaved. So something like head hair, body hair, nails, teeth, and skin, highlighting the implications of impermanence, unsatisfactoriness, not self. So it can become a profound and very, very meaningful contemplation and cooling down the fires of greed, hatred, and delusion in the heart. And this is the very core of Buddhist practice. It's just these natural truths, these looking into these natural things. Just thinking a little bit about how Anagārika Aaron came here originally too. He was, I think he was 19, 18, maybe even 18 when he first came here, 18 or 19. And normally we allow, things are a little bit different now with global circumstances, but back then we would allow first-time guests to stay for 1 week. So if somebody was a guest, they'd never been here before, never visited, it was allowed for a 1 week stay, and then they could ask to stay longer on subsequent stays. And so he showed up from Tucson, Arizona on a bus, I believe, and once he was here for a week, asked if he could stay longer. The week went well. He asked if he could stay on, and it was kind of far to go home again. So we would say he was our longest original stay guest. So he ended up staying, he ended up ordaining. He was a Anagārika for quite a long time, actually, maybe a year and a half, a novice also for a pretty long time before he became a bhikkhu, and then was a bhikkhu for 8 vasas before leaving the robes. And so that's, I think of that's like quite a bit of experience there. So gaining experience, but then also leaving the robes, going out into the world and touching people's lives out in the world. And that's also experience, that's also valuable. So it's all valuable. And then gaining the idea, giving rise to the sense that wanting to enter back into the monastery, go back into the robes. And so this is also seeking a new experience, seeking a new modality, a new way of being in the robes. So coming back and the feeling like, okay, he's older, it's different now. And I just think like there's no substitute for that blessing of experience, whether it's in the robes, out of the robes. One gains the experience of life. And someone who spent their 20s in the robes, that's a pretty wholesome way to spend one's 20s. And then I believe he turned 30 and left, and now he's come back. So something I just kind of marvel at, and that people want to lead a really pure, wholesome life in this way. And I was noticing during his 4 months or so as an Anagārika that he's spent so far after coming back, his old training has sort of been reactivated. So having memorized the chanting, the Parita chanting before, and knowing a lot of the ropes, it can actually be of a help to current Anagārikas and novices. So now he's come back in and we'll be requesting the 10 precepts.
Oka sawandami pante sabang aparadang kamatame pante maya katang punyang samina anumoditabang samina katang punyang mayhang databang sadhu sadhu anumodami Oka sakarunyang katwa tisaranena saha silani tetame bante.
And bow 3 times.
Ahang bante saranasilang yachami dutiyampi ahang bante saranasilang yachami tatiyampi ahang bante saranasilang yachami.
Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa.
Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa.
Yamahang vadamihang vadehi.
Oka sa'ama bante.
Buddhaṃ saranang gacchami.
Buddhaṃ saranang gacchami.
Dhammang saranang gacchami.
Dhammang saranang gacchami.
Sanghang saranang gacchami.
Sanghang saranang gacchami.
Dutiyampi buddhaṃ saranang gacchami.
Dutiyampi buddhaṃ saranang gacchami.
Dutiyampi dhammang saranang gacchami.
Dutiyampi dhammang saranang gacchami.
Dutiyampi sanghang saranang gacchami.
Dutiyampi sanghang saranang gacchami.
Tatiyampi buddhaṃ saranang gacchami.
Tatiyampi buddhaṃ saranang gacchami.
Tatiyampi dhammang saranang gacchami.
Tatiyampi dhammang saranang gacchami.
Tatiyampi sanghang saranang gacchami.
Tatiyampi sanghang saranang gacchami.
Tisarana kamanang nititang.
Oka sa'ama bante.
Panatipata veramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami.
Panatipata veramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami.
Adinadana veramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami.
Adinadana veramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami.
Abrahmacharya veramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami.
Brahmacharya veramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami.
Musawada veramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami.
Musawada veramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami.
Surameraya majapamadhatana veramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami.
Pura meraya maja pamadatana veramani sikapadang samadhiyami.
Vikala bhojana veramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami.
Vikala bhojana veramani sikapadang samadhiyami.
Nacha gita varita visukkadasana veramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami.
Nacha gita wadita visukadasana veramani sikapadang samadhiyami.
Mala ganda vilepana dharana mandana vibhusanatana veramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami.
Mala ganda vilepana dharana mandana vibhusanatana veramani sikapadang samadhiyami.
Uchasayana mahasayana veramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami.
Uchasayana mahasayana veramani sikapadang samadhiyami.
Jata rupa rajata patikahana veramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami.
Jata rupa rajata patigahana veramani sikapadang samadhiyami.
Imani dasa sikkhapadani samadhiyami.
Okasa amapante. Imani dasa sikapadani samadhiyami. Imani dasa sikapadani samadhiyami. Imani dasa sikapadani samadhiyami.
Okay, so now having determined the 10 precepts, this is a adhitthana, a determination to be a novice, to live in this way. The chant requesting the going forth, the sabba dukkha nisarana nibbana, that's sabba dukkha is like for all dukkha, nisarana to escape, so for the escaping from all dukkha, all unsatisfactoriness, all unhappiness. Nibbana, saccikaranataya, so sacci is like truth, like making manifest or realizing. Saccikarana, to realize, like in the Third Noble Truth, that same word is used. So Nibbana, saccikaranataya, for the realization of Nibbana. Imang kasawang gahetawa, like with these robes I'm holding. May you grant me the going forth. Pabajang deta me bante. Anukampang upadaya. That's like out of compassion. Please grant me the going forth. And so he chanted that 3 times and then handed me the robes. I set them to the side and he said, now with these robes I have given you, please, out of compassion, may you grant me the going forth. And then that's when I gave the mula kammatthana, the 5 meditation objects, the Kesa Loma, Naka, Danta, Tacho. And so then having put on the robes and determined the 10 precepts, that's the pabaja, the going forth, and then the next part of the ceremony is the taking of dependence on the acharya, on the teacher. And really, like, you take dependence on not just me, but also Longpor, of course, and the community of brothers here, monastic brothers, and also dependence on the lay community. We get, with the Jata Rupa Rajata Padikahana, the relinquishing the use of money once again, and getting back in dependence on the lay community for support. So like my very life is supported through the gifts of others, and also putting the brown robes back on. It's like entering back into that mode of the Apanaka Dhammas, eating little, speaking little, sleeping little, and those dhammas which always lead in the right direction. And it's a very special time to be doing this too, as in terms of the world. Can't think of anything better, any better response to, say, the not just one's own suffering, but the suffering in the world, to actually dedicate one's life to goodness and to benefiting not just oneself, but going into the robes also benefits others. It can inspire others toward spiritual practice and toward leading a spiritual path. And it's also like a looking toward the cooling the heart down and helping the heart, helping the pure heart to emerge from the realm of sensuality. And the brown robes also symbolize all of that. I've been reviewing some teachings of His Holiness Dilgo Khyentse Rinpoche recently, and one thing that struck me in those teachings, he's giving some advice, and it's when you develop the intention to do something good, don't hesitate, because if you hesitate, then the opportunity will be lost. So like, I think of you coming back into the robes, it's like that's what you did. You had this intention and you didn't hesitate. You contacted me back a number of months ago and then ended up following through with that intention. So that's quite impressive, quite praiseworthy. And so yeah, the next part of this then is the formal taking of dependence. So you can rise up and now begin with that.
Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Acharyo me bhante hohi ayasamato nisaya vachami. Acharyo me bhante hohi ayasamato nisaya vachami. Acharyo me bhante hohi ayasamato nisaya vachami.
Opaikang
Sadhu bhante.
patirupang
Sadhu bhante.
pasadikena sampadehi.
Sadhu bhante. Ajatagedani tero maihang baro aham pitera sabaro. Ajatagedani tero maihang baro aham pitera sabaro. Ajatagedani tero maihang baro aham pitera sabaro.
So you can sit comfortably again. And of course, as everyone knows, part of the Sāmaṇera ordination, the novice ceremony, is one receives a new name, and it's not titapo. You're now entering into a new realm. And so the meaning of this name, kind of somewhat free translation, one of vast experience. So it's kind of thinking that applied to you. So
Ratanyu.
So your new name is Ratanyu, and that's Rata is like days or nights, and Anyu is like one who knows. So it's one who has known many days, many nights. But the meaning is one who has great experience, one of long standing, and so having completed the ordination, completing the taking of dependence, then just sadhu. There's not much to say. And at this point, I believe you'd also have some offerings for Longpa, and if you wanted to offer those to him now and formally pay respects, and then he'll have a few more things to say to close the ceremony.
I must say, you look good in brown robes. Yeah, it's good to see you back. Of course, it was good to see you back in the monastery, but this is kind of a watershed, being back in brown, and you haven't lost your knack and how to keep your robes on, not let them fall off. That's good. That's a good thing. So just to express my delight in your aspiration and your effort to make it. Making a determination to return to the monastery, return to the training. It's so much a part of the human condition that we have all sorts of good ideas and good intentions, and never muster up the determination to actually do it, much of it, and that as you had the inclination, the idea to come and return to the training, and you followed through. You maintain that determination, and I wish you well in your continued training, because this is I think again, after having been away for some time, I think it's been good that we've and you have taken the time to see, okay, do I feel clear? Do I feel comfortable? Do I feel there's a strong enough commitment to come back? Because it's not easy, and you have, and and it is the actual word pabaja means going forth, and it's sort of that going forth from the household life into the homeless life, and it is a different way of living, different way of engaging with life, and certainly engaging with life with a commitment to precepts, and that's while you were out changing, Ajahn, I think it was when you said that Ajahn Yaniko was mentioning that it's ordinary. There's no compulsion for one to stay in the robes. We don't have anybody sign contracts, or there's not a time limit, really. It's whatever one feels committed to and feels is a beneficial way of engaging with one's life. But certainly the bottom line is not really negotiable, is the picking up the training precepts and living by those training precepts, and that commitment to harmlessness, to a honesty, a commitment to living in a way of simplicity and having a certain purity of conduct. That is one. Of course, it's the reality. Of course, is when we ordain, our defilements ordain with us. So it's always a work in progress. And that's. But it's having the form, having the community, having Sangha, as a support, then that it gives us that opportunity to try to, as Ajahn Yaniko just mentioned, that making manifest the ending of suffering and the realization of Nibbana. That is the purpose and the goal. And and there's lots of ups and downs and lots of difficulties and lots of things that we have difficulty in shedding, but it is a path of training, a way of life that is devoted to training. So that living a life of training, and that's there are the 10 subjects for frequent recollection for one who has gone forth, and that's of the Pabajitena Binha Pachawek. That's it's a chant that we do on a regular basis. It's in the chanting book, and those are really important to bring up to review, reflect on. And the very first one, I am no longer living according to worldly aims and values, is this is a whole different way of life, and of course for yourself, you've lived it before, so you kind of know what you're getting yourself in for, and but still, it's that sense of this is one is taking a step of stepping back from, stepping out of worldly aims and values, and the commitment to, it's like the Buddha pointed at what are say the worldly dhammas. It's like a praise and blame, gain and loss. Say having status or ill repute, happiness and suffering. Those are what tend to keep the world spinning. And of course, as a one who has gone forth, one seeing the limitation of that, seeing the suffering in that, whether it's worrying about being blamed or trying to be praised, trying to be liked, trying to be comfortable in some way, trying to get some kind of gain, some kind of advantage. Those are all endlessly frustrating, and whether one is living in the world or living in a monastery, because those habits are very deeply ingrained. Just recognizing that one has a whole lifestyle and form, monastic form, that helps to support the aspiration from stepping out of that not living by worldly aims and values. That second reflection is my life is dependent on the gifts of others. It's so important to recollect that we are, say, as monastics, we don't really have the means of providing security for ourselves. We're not able to store food. Of course, as a novice, technically you could, but Ajahn Yaniko, if Ajahn Yaniko heard about that, you'd hear about it pretty quick. But it's sort of learning how that sense of, I'm completely dependent on the gifts of others. Everything, the robes that you're wearing, those are a gift for you to practice and train with, to make manifest this holy life. Your alms bowl that you've been given is an alms bowl for receiving one's daily meal, and the daily meal is of course we are very well supported, and the chances of going hungry are pretty slim, but still, that's not how you don't bank on that, you don't assume that. That one always has to be reflecting that I'm completely dependent on the gifts of others. And that sense of living with there's two qualities that are really important, essential for any practitioner, whether you're a lay person or a monastic. But as anybody who's seeking peace and growth and maturity in Dhamma principles, contentment and gratitude, those are qualities that are absolutely essential. Because you can have a lot and still be discontent. You can be well looked after and just not be very grateful, and that's it's not it's not a beautiful human quality, and it really is an obstacle on the path of a practice and training and aspiration for peace and happiness. But contentment and gratitude, those are qualities that lay a solid foundation for growing in the Dhamma, growing in these principles of truth. The last one I'll talk about, of course, there's 10 reflections, but these first 3 ones always really strike me as very powerful of reflections and setting a tone, setting a view, because it's like Ajahn Chah, even though he was a great meditation master and incredibly accomplished as a meditator, much of his teaching was really focused on like sila and samadhi, that virtue, integrity, and right view, and so that the things that help us to ground our experience in integrity and virtue, and right view, right understanding of right ways of turning our perception and attention. That is really critical for growing on the path and growing in meditation. The meditation grows out of that soil of virtue and right view. So often there's the trying to get the right technique, trying to get the right number of hours, trying to get all of the external things, but it's that internal commitment to virtue and right view that's so important. And the third reflection for one going to, I should strive to abandon my former habits. That's it's really important to be reviewing and reflecting on, what's the package that I bring? It isn't that all of our habits are bad either. We can have some really good habits, but then they become fresh when you recognize, oh, that's really skillful. That's to my advantage. But then it becomes new because it's like discovering a new, say, pattern in one's mind and one's life that is there's a certain confidence that comes from that. And those things that sort of unskillful or just not very useful. It's kind of like another waste of time that we do habitually. Because often oftentimes that has more detrimental effect to our practice. Some of the things that are just kind of useless, not necessary, but we can't help doing it. And that is that I should strive to abandon my former habits. And just being able to look back and review and reflect on how can I really turn my attention to what's truly skillful, what's truly beneficial. So that just delight in your returning to the monastery, to the training, and just taking on the robes and taking on the training, and of course reflecting on how to get back into the mindset of a samana. Of course, there's the training and reflection and the living in community in it, but also, one of the things that I've always found useful is like Ajahn defined samana as the samana is someone without a future, and that's a from a worldly perspective or from a personality perspective, a sense of me, it's kind of disheartening or terrifying even. You've got no future. But it's like we tend to always do something for some return or some gain or some object of gratification, object of accomplishment, and there's always a sense of self there, and it's always unsatisfying. It's never really satisfied. So that sense of one is not creating when one doesn't create oneself through that. Say like from in the Pali, ahankara, mamankara, mananusaya. So the I-making, the mind-making, the underlying tendency to conceit, or that sense of self that is me trying to establish myself somehow, somewhere. Then one doesn't have, when one isn't tied to that, one has no future. One's not, and one's free to go about this, because there is no limit to the present moment. In reality, of course, it's our engaging with a sense of identity that brings us back to birth and death. It's that engaging with a sense of identity that brings us back to the cycles of happiness and suffering. Brings us back to being and non-being. And so that opportunity to relinquish, the opportunity to establish the heart in a sense of dispassion, in a sense of cooling, and being able to let go of that I making, the mind making, and one's left with this present moment and unimpeded awareness and knowing. So that is recognizing the opportunity, or recollecting the opportunity that one has within this form, and to just go for it. Again, delighted that you're back.
Andamayam Dhammakataya Sadhukaram Datamase.
Sadhu, 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 anumodam. We can close with the verses of sharing and aspiration on page 33 of Book 1. Before we close, also just say, a lot of us are experiencing the effects of having a lot of smoke in the air. Just cancel morning puja tomorrow morning, just to practice on your own. And come down for morning chores at 6:30. Have to be nice sometimes. Now let us chant the verses of sharing and aspiration. Through the goodness that arises from my practice, may my spiritual teachers and guides of great virtue, my mother, my father, and my relatives, the sun and the moon, and all virtuous leaders of the world, may the highest gods and evil forces, celestial beings, guardian spirits of the earth, and the Lord of death, may those who are friendly, indifferent, or hostile, may all beings receive the blessings of my life. May they soon attain the threefold bliss and realize the deathless through the goodness that arises from my practice, and through this act of sharing, may all desires and attachments quickly cease, and all harmful states of mind, until I realize Nibbana in every kind of birth. May I have an upright mind, with mindfulness and wisdom, austerity and vigor. May the forces of delusion not take hold, nor weaken my resolve. The Buddha is my excellent refuge. Unsurpassed is the protection of the Dhamma. The solitary Buddha is my noble guide. The Sangha is my supreme support. Through the supreme power of all these, may darkness and delusion be dispelled. guided by him, I bow to the Dhamma. The Blessed One's disciples, who have practiced well,